Good evening, everyone. Welcome to TouchTone Tuesday Presents Tell Your Story. I'm Dr. Sheri Dark-Goudeau, and I'm telling you, our guest tonight is beyond amazing. He has a story for you. This is the officer and a gentleman. So let's not delay this. Let's get on down to the story. We have Mr. Harry Lee Barnes Sr. We call him Pop. So, Pop, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Thank
Okay,
you for having me.
oh, thank you so much for being here. We're going to get on down to it because I know they want the story. Now, tell us where you were born.
I was born here in Dayton, Texas, a little country town between Houston and Beaumont.
Ah, yeah, nothing like the country. And your
Nothing like the
parents?
country.
Yeah, and your parents were?
My father's name was Harry Barnes, and my mother, she wanted to see that I be named Harry Lee Barnes instead of Harry Barnes Jr. So that's the reason I'm Harry Lee Barnes instead of Harry Barnes Jr.
I like it. She making the distinction early on. Wise woman, wise woman. So tell us a little bit about your childhood in this country town.
um, I was like I said, I was raised up by a single parent. My father passed when I was around 10 years old.
Oh,
So I was raised up by a single parent, which was my mother, Maybelline.
yeah.
And she was very, very strict.
Oh,
She didn't have to ball her fist up at you.
oh my
All she
God.
would do is give you that look.
Yeah.
You need to shut up.
And you knew to take it down.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that's the business. That's the business, right? Y'all, that's
Mhm.
old school, but that's still right school. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes,
That's what
yes.
that is. That's what
We
that is.
need a whole lot of that in this stage,
Oh
sister.
my gosh. We're gonna need a whole lot of that and then some.
Yes,
We got to bring it back.
yes.
Man, well, she didn't do too badly here, I'm telling you. So
Oh, no,
growing
she didn't.
up, who inspired you? Your dad passes away at 10, and usually rites of passage come from the dad, but here your
Mhm.
mom is doing a bang up job. Is she
Miss
your
Ada Gibbs.
inspiration?
Miss Ada Gibbs.
Miss Ada
She,
Gibbs. Tell us
yes.
about her.
She was okay. Miss Ada, she was a faithful church worker.
Yeah.
Tragedy hit her in her younger days, and she ended up having to have one of her legs amputated.
Oh my goodness.
But still, that didn't stop her from worship and serving the Lord.
Yes.
And she was a very, very good vocalist.
Oh my
And
goodness.
I'll tell you this, everywhere she went, I didn't care what nationality she went in front of, they wanted to hear Ada sing.
Oh wow.
Yes. Mhm.
That's amazing. So what was it about Miss Ada that you just kind of took to?
Well, she was for the right thing, and she
Mhm.
was the type that, excuse me, whatever she told you, it was for your own good.
Mm.
Plus,
Yeah.
she wasn't going to baby it up. She
Yeah.
would just tell you like it. And I'll just give you a good example. For instance, like when you was out there courting women,
Yeah.
and she'd tell you quick, if she's good enough for you to lay up with at night, she's good enough for you to marry.
Oh, I love her.
Just like that. And
She
that's
was
what she meant.
she was straight from the hip, shooting
Yes, ma'am.
straight.
Yes, ma'am.
I
Hmm.
see why you listen to her.
Oh, she was very, very good. Yeah.
Oh
I
man.
loved her just like a mom.
Yeah, and it sounds like she loved you like a son.
She did.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. So that was a part of what we now call the village, if you will.
Okay.
Takes
Okay.
a village to raise a child, but sounds like you had a pretty strong village,
Oh,
especially
yes.
Miss Ada.
Oh,
Yeah, and your
yes.
mom. Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Need a little bit more of that too. Man.
Yes.
So you
Yes.
become this young man raised by your village here, very strong, and then you make a decision to go into the military. What made that decision for you?
Yes, ma'am. Job was hard to get back.
About that. Go
It was hard to get a decent job back during that time,
ahead. Hmm.
and I just wanted more out of life than that. So me and another group of guys, we decided that the military was our thing because our parents weren't able to send us to college. So
Yeah.
we decided that we would go in the military where we get our schooling paid for.
Hmm.
And by the time I got about midway of my basic training, Paul Quinn College sent me a scholarship,
Ah,
but I was already going and and that been when you raise that right hand up and swear, they swear you in, and that's it.
that's it. That's
That's
it. So
what
it
I
was,
missed out.
yeah, it was meant to be in
Yes,
a sense that you would go into the military because you get that scholarship. We think we're off to college and we're good to go.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
wow, wow. So you served, and how long did you serve?
I did 4 years actually. I did two on in active duty and two in reserve.
Okay. Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
that was a total of 4 years altogether.
Wow. And so this is the Army. Is this that the
Right,
branch?
right.
Okay, yeah,
Yes,
branch that you served in. Now you're in the armed forces, the Army, at a time when Black men probably referred to as coloreds at that
yes,
point.
yes.
Okay, if I'm right. Okay. And at that particular time, you're serving your country in which you have no voice and no vote. What is that like serving abroad, knowing that you don't have the equality here, but you're still protecting this country abroad?
I think the military was one of the first organizations where we become integrated.
Yeah.
Once you was sworn in, all men was created equal.
Mm,
Yes, at that time,
yeah.
because I saw this different guys, from different parts of the United States who
Mhm.
served together, and you had that respect out of all of them.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough to have the ability for leadership,
Mhm.
and I moved right on up in ranks and stuff, and made a leaderman. That way, I was over a certain portion of the platoon
Mhm. Mhm.
in the company that I was serving in.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And what was your highest rank, if you don't
The
mind?
highest rank I had was E3.
Mm,
Yes, yes. That's
wow.
next to a staff sergeant.
Yes, yes, that's
Mhm.
pretty high up. My goodness.
Yes,
So there you had equality there that you didn't have in your country. You guys respect each other. It's a time of possible war, conflict, and you guys are
yes.
watching each other's back, whether that's brown, white, black, whatever it is.
Oh, yes.
Everybody's on that level, except for you have your ranks, of course, of course.
Yes, this was right after the Korean conflict.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they were bringing all the troops back to the States then. So
Mm-hmm.
I was blessed I didn't have to go overseas or anything. I served all my time right there at Fort Lewis, Washington.
Okay.
It's in the state of Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no problem. I really enjoyed it, and
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to be blessed with a voice for singing.
Yeah.
And they heard me sing in the barracks, and they had what they called Troop the Line, which
Mm-hmm.
was a talent show.
Mm.
And I got a chance to participate in that on TV, on camera.
On TV.
Yes, yes. And they taught us how to look at each camera at a certain time and stuff.
Yeah.
And, but it's one thing I found out about all this talent I had in later life.
Mm-hmm.
God always had a hold on me
Mm.
for the simple reason getting big headed too fast.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't that I was going to hurt myself so much, but hurting the people that love me
Yeah.
and care for me. So
Mm-hmm.
it kept me, so to speak, kept me in check
Mm. Okay.
because I was the type that I couldn't stand instant progress.
Oh.
See, this is what happened to a lot of. I've seen this over the years.
Yeah.
Where you see a lot of these guys get off into drugs,
Mm-hmm.
alcohol, and stuff. This is what happens. They get this big head, and just forget where they come from.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you get this time on TV.
Yes,
Um, training, so to speak, showtime, the
Yes,
stage,
yes,
and
yes.
what an opportunity. But at the
Mhm.
same time, it has its other side that may take
Oh,
you down a
yes.
different pathway.
Oh, yes.
Now, did the
Yes.
voice of Miss Ada and your mom, Miss Maybelline, come back to you at those moments? Or did
No.
you have to run into some bump
I
your head
had to run in,
stuff?
I had to be knocked down several times.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I had to be knocked down several times, and I had a chance to really see what it was all about.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
finally, I come to the realization that this is why I've never been able to get up into the bright lights,
Mm-hmm.
because I was
Mm-hmm.
going to hurt so many people
Yeah.
that really loved me and wanted to see me make it in life.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And so to keep those habits, so to speak, from becoming a habit for you,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
kept humble, if we could say it like that, and
Mm-hmm.
not make it to the big stage as
Yes.
some of the
Yes.
actors and some of the singers at that time that I'm sure you could have easily rubbed elbows with.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. While I was in high school, even
Mm-hmm.
my teacher, Mr. Tyson, he's no longer with us. He's
Mm-hmm.
gone to heaven. He took me to talent shows. I've sung at nightclubs in Houston and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I flew around there at one talent show. I was so stage frightened till I started the song that I had been rehearsing over and over. I started in the wrong note and just made a plumb fool out of it. I sat up there. So that, along with the other things, it helped me to realize, that
Yeah.
this just wasn't meant to be for me.
It wasn't meant to be in that stuff. Now, what is your natural singing voice? You what baritone or what is your natural
Baritone, yes.
baritone? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And what
Uh,
was the song you were singing
I was
that you
singing one. I was At that time. I was singing one of Nat King Cole's songs.
watch out now, watch out.
Sing for me.
Oh, you took us back.
Yeah. Yeah. But the one I liked was Al Hitler
Mhm.
and uh, Billy Eckstein.
Yeah.
I used to love this singing.
Oh my goodness, the originals here. Did you ever have the opportunity to meet them?
No,
Okay.
never did, never did.
Yeah, just wondering with that type of talent and that type of voice. But as you said, God had a
Mhm.
plan
Yes,
for you, and
yes,
you saw it shape up.
yes, yes,
Hmm.
yes.
Hmm. Do I remember talking to you, and we're, y'all, if you're wondering, we're talking with the officer and a gentleman. We've gotten a little bit of the military history, and of course, now we're getting the vocal lessons over here from none other than Mr. Harry Lee Pop Barnes Sr. So we're chiming in right here, and we're learning these wisdom lessons. So you have this experience,
Mm-hmm.
God's shaping you and pulling the reins and saying, not this limelight life,
Yes,
so to
yes,
speak.
yes. My first experience, I believe, was when I was threatened in a heart attack and didn't even know it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm.
And I ended up having open heart surgery.
Mm.
And
And how young were you at that moment?
oh, how was I? Oh, I was a grown adult, that's for sure. I would say in my late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, right in about that time frame, but that's still very young
Yes, yes,
for that
yes.
type of procedure. And what went through your mind? Because now you have children. Tell us about your children real quickly as well too. And these
Okay.
beautiful children, we can't forget them.
The Lord blessed me with three kids, and all three of them been called to minister
Mm,
the gospel.
mm. That's a testimony
And I
in and of
told,
itself. Yeah.
and I told them, I said, I didn't have nothing to do with this. This was God's doing.
Yeah.
You didn't do what I put you here on earth to do. So
Yeah.
I'll show you I can still
Mm.
accomplish what I want
Mm-hmm.
through your children.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to say today that my daughter is a minister.
Yes.
Both of my sons are ministers and
Yeah.
pastor of church. I have one pastor of church in San Antonio, Texas,
Uh-huh.
and one here in Dayton, Texas. And my daughter, she's, I say freelancer because she belongs to different churches and stuff, but
Yes. But
she's very well. She can speak real well.
yeah, ministering the gospel though.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. So when you said that a little while ago that you felt like the Lord was saying to you, since you didn't do, I'm going to
Yeah,
use your children. So you
yes,
had that call.
yes, yes.
Hmm. And what happened with that call?
I was living a fast life.
Mm.
I didn't have time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. And then you run into
doing
this.
this,
Go ahead. Go ahead, Pop.
and doing this operation,
Mm-hmm.
I forget what they call it. I had operation, excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
an operation on my throat,
Mm-hmm.
right side of my throat, where they had to take something out.
Mm.
That was the end of my singing.
Wow. And how old were you when that happened?
Oh, it's right at 70 years old.
Wow. Because I remember us talking. We've known each other for a while. He's watched me grow up, y'all. But I remember us talking, and you said that if you don't use that voice,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember you sharing that with your granddaughter, of course, which is just amazing vocalist, I might add.
Yes,
But you spoke of that. You don't use it, you'll lose it.
yes, yes.
And you were
And that,
encouraging her.
that's an old cliche, but
Mhm.
trust me, it's the truth.
It's the truth.
If
Yeah.
you don't use it, you will lose it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially with this talent, you don't use it for my benefit, then I'll give it to somebody who appreciates it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then seeing this with your children as you stay, but then you run into this life altering event of heart surgery. And
Yes.
what comes to your mind at that point? Because I've been running, as they say, running for a long time. But
I was laying up in the hospital that night all by myself.
mm-hmm,
And something strange happened to me that night. This nurse came to me and she woke me up and said, Mr. Barnes, Mr. Barnes. And I woke up and looked up at her. It was just like she was an angel or something. Matter of fact, I know she was an angel because I had never saw the nurse before.
hmm,
And she spoke to me and told me, say, God told me to tell you that you're not going to die.
wow,
He's not ready for you yet because you haven't did what he put you there for. You
hmm,
got a member in your family that you need to witness to. So he's giving you the time to do that.
hmm,
And I searched my soul and I searched. And I think I have finally found the guy. It's been over 20 years ago now.
my goodness.
Found out who he was talking about.
Yes,
But I'm working on it.
you're working
And
on.
I did have the privilege of meeting the family and by talking to them and
Mhm.
the young men in their family brought them to Christ.
Wow.
And one of them just looked up to me like I'm his grandfather, you understand?
Yes. And
And,
how did you?
I'm proud of that.
Yes.
I'm proud of that. At least I know I've done somebody something good, you understand?
Because that warms my heart as I'm listening in a time when we need men
Yes,
to mentor men. especially for the namesake of Christ.
Yes.
What a feeling. What a
I like the kid with youngsters and stuff, but there's a limit.
yes.
I go so far with them, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Those that have all this hostility,
Yeah.
and I see where it's going to cause a confusion, then I try to stay away from them
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to hurt nobody's child. Just I don't want nobody to hurt mine.
Mm.
Most certainly don't want them to hurt me.
Exactly, exactly. But now that's not gonna happen. You got too many, daughters running around here. Yeah, we know how to do things, and we're taking this off the camera. But nevertheless, but now you haven't had your father since the age of 10,
Mhm.
and you go through a series of challenges as young men do. Get a little bit off track, but then God has a moment with you through an angel, you know what it's about, and then you finally find the person, search them out, and begin to speak into his life and begin to see change. How does that make you feel? Because you didn't really necessarily have that father figure after the age of 10, other than maybe some encounters here or there.
Yeah, I was blessed though because
Mhm.
I did have two uncles
Okay.
that took up a lot of time. They bought my clothes and stuff for me to go to school and everything.
Yeah.
I've always liked to dress. Like
You're a sharp dresser, y'all. Watch out.
yes,
Yeah.
ma'am, spoke. Yeah,
And
but
so they put a lot of time into you and
oh yes, oh
yeah.
yes.
Mhm.
They were career men too.
Mm.
Because one of the uncles he retired in the army, and
Mm.
the other one hated it. They were both in the Korean conflict. They just didn't like it, you understand. But anyway, they was a big influence in my life.
Mhm. Mhm. Ah,
Plus, Mr. Tyson, the high school teacher,
yes.
he was a good mentor, you understand.
Okay, wow. So you did have those mentors around you to
Yes,
shape you
yes.
into manhood. Okay. And then, of course, you pass this forward. And if I'm right, one of your sons also was in the armed forces. Is
He
that correct?
retired in the he
Okay.
retired in the
That's what I
military.
thought. So it became a little
Two,
bit of a
two of them,
let.
two of them. Two of them retired. One retired in the Air Force, and one retired in the Marine.
Okay. So both your sons, actually. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And so just passing that legacy on. And then now in this generation, you have, not only children, you have grandchildren, great grands, etc. What a blessing
Yes, yes,
that
yes.
is. And so, what is your hope? Because you've come through a lot. Growing up as a young man, country, so to speak, blessed to
Mm-hmm.
serve your country at a time and then be consider have some equality there, even though it wasn't necessarily going on in the country, but at least in the armed forces you have it. And then God brings you through life altering experiences, and you're here with us tonight.
Mm-hmm. I think, Dr. Dog, something that I'm really proud of,
Mhm.
and my kids all know that I feel that way about them. I think you're less than a parent when you don't want your child to do better than you did in life.
Ooh, that's a word. Say
You
that
understand?
one more time. Yes,
Yes, it's a must that they do better than I did.
it's a must.
If they don't, then I feel as a parent.
Wow.
And it's not all my doing, too, because some of them are not with me as they go through adulthood, you understand?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But God saw fit to use them. And but anyway, I'm very proud of my kids. And I don't say it, none of my kids don't have faults. We all have faults.
Yeah,
But we have to be careful about pointing the finger at people
we do.
because we've all made mistakes in life. And if we keep living, we're going to make some more.
We are. We
Yes.
are. No doubt about it.
But
But
I
I gotta
thank
say,
God
your
that,
your kids are pretty proud of you.
Well, I'm glad of that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, as we are. Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
That's a wisdom pearl though. That's a wisdom pearl when you say they must be better or I
Oh
failed
yeah. Oh
as a
yeah.
parent. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we're not gonna sing. We're not gonna talk together about crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, we got to be talking about something that's gonna be beneficial to
Yeah.
us.
Mm, mm. But something my mom always said, she said the proof is in the pudding.
Yes.
That's the way
Yes.
she would say it to me. The proof
Yes.
is in the pudding. And so
Mhm.
you see it as a reflection of your in your children. So that must warm what I call a godly parent's heart.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, you see them excelling, you see them doing better. That just speaks volumes to you. As I said,
Oh
we
Lord.
we you know we're talking about Black History Month as well, and this is Black history. I don't call him history. This is a moment. This is a movement, people, in the
Yes.
culture of our people sitting here before us, Mr. Harry Lee Popcorn Sr. I don't think it could have been said any better than it's a must that
Yes.
the next generation does better.
Oh
As
yes.
yeah, as you see the world now, how do you think that we can get some of this on track? Some would say it's off track and not coming back, but I'm not one of those people. I'm kind of positive. I'll put it that way. But what do you see?
The resources is there for us,
Yeah,
all of us. Every man, regardless of what nationality is,
yeah.
and you can go as far in life as you want to go.
Mm,
There's no limitation to what you can do and what you can't do. I think history proves that.
mhm, mhm.
We've been blessed to be able to live under. We'll have something to say to our parents that went on before all this happened, to tell them what we've been able to witness. We have had a black man to be a president of the United States, the same building that they built for the president to live in. Slaves built our people. We had a black man to live in it.
Wow.
And right now, at this time in uh, what is this? February
Yeah.
9th, 20,
February, yes.
20,
February
2022.
18th. 2022. Yes, sir.
We got a
17.
black woman that's sitting in position should something happen to the president to become the first black lady
Yes.
to be president of these United States.
Isn't that something?
And and I was looking at the news the other day where we got one black lady is the administrator of the NASA's
Mm-hmm.
Space Center.
Yes, sir.
The opportunities is there,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to study and show yourself approved. They're
Amen.
not gonna give it to you.
No.
I just like somebody walking up to you telling you about their hiring down at such and such a place,
Mm-hmm.
and you wants to get on the phone and call.
Yes.
That won't work.
No. You gotta
You
go.
got to go in person.
You gotta go.
You got to go and see about that.
You gotta get up.
And if opportunity knocks on your door,
Mhm.
you got to take advantage of it.
Yes, sir.
And the first step to that is being qualified. The
Mm-hmm.
first step to being qualified is get educated.
Mm. Come on, Pop. You
Without,
on?
without
Come on.
education, you lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm proud of our young black people because you see we young some black people we got good and bad in every nationality. So don't put your
True.
people down because they
True.
did something.
True. Very
We
true.
got good and bad in all nationalities.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the good outweigh the bad all the time.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, I'm not too good on quoting scripture. It seems like to me, it says that in the scripture that before God see more people worshiping the devil before than him in heaven, they both will pass away.
Not one word gonna fail. Not one. There you go. You got it. Not one jot, not one tittle. It's not gonna fail. It's
Yes,
gonna be what he said it's gonna be.
yes,
And that is, we read the end of the book, we win.
we win.
We win.
We
That's the
win.
story. That's the story right there. That's the story, man. I'm listening, y'all.
Well, since you brought that about the we win, I was listening to a sermon my daughter preached at her church there at Berean.
Yes. I remember that sermon.
You might have forgot about it, but I got it laid right up there over my fireplace under my TV. I
I
sit there and
re-
listen to it. We win.
we win. We win. Yes. And that's the way he has it set up. And what I'm hearing tonight in you is that you gave yourself, despite choices, you gave yourself no excuses.
No, no, no.
No excuses. And it was drilled into you, no excuses, no matter what you see.
And I had to learn the hard way. But it don't have to be like that with everybody.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly, exactly. Now, listen, on a lighter note, we got to go out because I told y'all this guy's a stepper. Now, we have people of all ages, but just something that we want to know from you. This is from me.
Okay.
What is it that says that we can still totally off grid right now, that we can just find love at any age? Because now I was married, as you know, I mean, well over the hump, as we say, when we got together.
Mhm.
But what causes your heart to still be open to love? Because we hear some people say, I'm too old now. That's past. It done. Or well, it's just not in the cards for me. How do you keep that balanced?
I wish I could answer that for you because I still love.
There you go.
I'm 83 years old. I still love.
Thank you, Pop. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
See, this is Valentine's month too, so we had to throw
yeah.
that in there just for everybody. Because there's some people that just, kind of believe it has a number on it, but I don't
Well,
believe that.
my friend and I right now, whenever we stop talking to each other, say we're talking on the phone at night or something like that, the last thing I say is, I love you.
Isn't that a beautiful
You
thing?
have a good night.
It's beautiful,
I love you. You have a good day.
y'all.
Yeah.
I'm
And
telling
it's more to love than just saying it.
you. Yes.
If you love me, show me.
hmm It's an action word, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
That's a good word.
Yeah.
It's an action word.
It's an action word. It's an action word. And what we're doing tonight, I think, is while we talk about this, and I'm telling you, he's given us life pearls and wisdom tonight, from growing up with
Mm-hmm.
his village to God just strategically placing him where he needed to be, armed services, and is right where he needed to be to shape him, to groom him, despite choices, this singing career, and allowed him to have a little bit of that and bringing him back around to what purpose really is. And that is finding his purpose in God with his family, his children, watching them come into ministry, now passing it on to the next generation, and a heart that's still open to love. And I think if we're ever going to get it back, we got to love people.
Amen.
And that's just it. That's
Yeah,
just it.
that's the
So
bottom line.
that's the bottom line, Pop. So I got to tell you, thank you for spending time tonight with our audience, sharing anything you want to add. Feel free to do so. But we bless you tonight for this one.
And I thank you for having me here, and it's a blessing to be here.
All right, Pop. We're going to call it a night here, you guys. Thank y'all so much for joining us with TouchTone Tuesday presents Tell Your Story with none other than the officer and gentleman himself, Mr. Harry Lee Pop Barnes Sr. You want to take these wisdom nuggets with you. They're words to live by. You guys have a good one. Until next Thursday. Take care.